Hi, this is Tom Pyle from the University of Houston, doing a tech demo of my guide to using Adobe Premiere Elements 8 and its associated software to create a digital story. You may know Adobe Premiere Elements due to its wide installed base in the Adobe family of products generally. However, while Premiere Elements may be useful for editing video clips you might include in an advanced digital story, the real power it has, if you have access to it due to a school purchase or some other program, is through the organizer, which will load up here. Launching organizer. It usually takes a few moments. Alright. Once you've loaded the organizer here, you see that there are a lot of options meant to guide you through creating various media products. Let's go to Create, and then Slideshow. Some options will pop up. Static duration will be the default length by which it shows any slide. There's a variety of options you can use. I believe you can also increase it to 5.5, or perhaps not. You can set the transition, and you will see a short demo of whatever your chosen default transition is. Transition duration shows you how long that transition will take. Let's leave it at 2 seconds. The background color will show what is displayed when you do not have a picture that fits the usual screen size. You can set it to whatever you like in the color picker or manually set in an option. Let's leave it at a nice blue here. Apply pan and zoom to all sides. Include photo captions as text and narration. Crop some images to fit slides. We'll leave that alone for now because we'll be using pan and zoom quite a bit. And we'll click OK. As you can see, for the purposes of demonstration, we'll be using images, the hoop. Alright, once it's loaded up, you'll see some extras here, clip art, but what we're really looking at is to add media. You can add things from Elements Organizer already if you've had files that you've edited quite a bit. You can also add from folder. You can also add audio from either Element Organizer or folders. Once you've gotten to this point, you click and drag up onto everything, select Open, and it will be displayed in the order that the files were in your directory, which can be important. If you save them by some kind of chronological order, you can save yourself some hassle. Now, let's say we want to adjust this a little so that we put things in a somewhat better order. We can put Homer here at the end. Move the Who cell out here, Portrait of the Old Man. And perhaps we have a little redundancy in our quadrophenia, so we can right-click and delete slide. Once we're done here, we hit back. You get a rough of what the slideshow time is. Yours will probably be much longer, of course. Now, perhaps we want to add a blank slide so that we have some introductory text. Click here, and it will go exactly where you last had left the cursor. Now, as you can see here, we kind of have a simplified screen line, or scene line, if you will, rather than a explicit timeline. Some options here to add text. You can select the style, for instance like this, and then add text. You type in text here as you format it. As you see, I put in carriage returns, which is necessary in order to ensure that what you have will have the right stacking that you want. Now you can move the text around, and there are options here as well if you'd prefer to have it right aligned, although here you would have to worry about the size of the screen. Right aligned, center, left aligned. Let's leave it in the center. You have options here to bold it or underline it. You can change the color if you prefer, but let's leave it like that. You can even increase the font size. Or, if you prefer, change the font itself. You can also add a drop shadow if you like, and alter the color of that. A rather subtle effect, but it can be useful. You can add more than one piece of text, although you may need to be a little careful here. For instance here, and then you could drag that down to the side, reduce the font size, change it to match the other font. Pretend I didn't mess that part up. There you go, a nice 5-minute starting slide. Now, it's possible to add text overlays on specific slides as well. But we'll show you how to do pan and zoom here. Here, you have a red and a green box, which you may find familiar if you've worked with Photo Story style tools in the past. Green is where the camera, so to speak, will begin. Let's center it here on Pete and his impressive nose. And then the end image will show where it concludes. So, for instance, we could reduce this in size, click and drag it, show the rest of the man's faces. When that plays, you will see we have here a demonstration, if a little slow. Moves away from Pete and moves towards the others. Now, one other useful thing to do, well, scratch that, we'll work on that in the final draft. You may need to go through and manually enable pan and zoom. This is also where you might, for instance, record some pithy quotes. Where would you do that, you may ask? Aha, well, you go up here to add narration to your slideshow. Hit record narration. This is going to be an adventure because I'm not sure how compatible the two are. You can save it as an audio caption if you prefer, which will let you adjust it through the organizer. We'll leave that alone for now. Pete Townshend was notorious for, after finishing his shows, destroying his guitars by smashing them down onto the stage. You'll see that there is a volume feed here. And also you may notice down here that the time of the slide has changed in order to accommodate my narration. This will automatically adjust the time frame during which the pan and zoom takes place, although it is possible to add another pan and zoom. You may see here that the slide itself was duplicated. The start is identical to the end on the first slide, while the end, of course, can be moved as you please, perhaps miniaturized and placed over the guitar. Now, once you've gotten all of your narration recorded, you'll need to some extent, see what you've done. You'll click Full Screen Preview here, which we'll leave alone for the moment because it may make this computer chug. And then there is Output, which lets you choose what format you want to save it as a file, burn to disk, send to TV, or edit with Premiere Elements, which you can use if you're more of a power user. Let's just go with save as a file. We're going to save it as high resolution. And then we'll save it in our video libraries. Test record number 1. Writing WMV file. It only gives you the option to save in WMV, although if you export it to Premiere Elements, you'll have a much wider variety of options. As you can see, that this can take quite a long time to do, although the resulting product will be in very high resolution. Given the time frame that it will take for it to finish, we're going to close off here. Any remaining steps will involve locating your file and uploading it, much as I'm going to be uploading this in a little while. Thank you very much for your time. End test.